Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, and what I want to do for you right now is break down one of my images, one image that I captured recently at a baseball game, and give you the ins and outs of how I did it, why I did it, what was going through my mind, and then also give it a quick edit in Adobe Lightroom, as well as give you the ability to download the DNG file to try it out for yourself. So I think this may be a recurring series, and if you guys think that it would be something that you would like to watch, go ahead and leave a comment down below so I know that you like it and I can make more. So let's get into the image. So here we have it. This was shot at the Phillies game on last Sunday, as of the time of the recording of this, and it's not an easy image to capture. But let's talk about what I was shooting with first. We've got the Nikon D4S and the Sigma 150 to 600 f5 to 6.3, the sports version. Now you can see that I captured the moment. I froze the action as best as possible and captured the ball right on the bat. Now in sports, this is one of those shots that you absolutely want to get. Now it's not as simple as just spraying and praying, because I can do what, 11 frames a second on the D4S, I think? It's not that simple, because yes, you can do 11 frames in 1 second, but what's happening with the swing is not taking 1 second. Even shooting 11 frames a second, you're not guaranteed to capture this. I shot all day, and this was the only one that I got the ball on the bat. It's a mixture of anticipation and a little bit of luck going on. Now, in the future, I would think that the mirrorless cameras may have a better opportunity to capture more shots like this, because they're shooting upwards of 15 frames or more a second. That spraying and praying may come into effect when you start to shoot more frames a second. You may be able to capture this easier than with the DSLR, but that is for the future. This is the type of shot that I look for. So let's break it down. I'm shooting at 1/2000th of a second at f5.6 ISO 4000. What you have to remember is that this is a 6.3 lens, meaning when you zoom all the way out, it's going to go to f6.3. It's variable aperture. And here you can see I'm at 270 millimeters. I'm already at 5.6. So I have to keep in my mind that I may be at 6.3 as I zoom out, depending on the action, which means I'm going to lose light as we zoom. So I have to think, well, I want my ISO to be higher. I want my ISO to be higher because I have to compensate for that 5.6 or 6.3, because it's not a 2.8. It's not an f4. There's a 2-stop difference there, which means I need to get my shutter speed up to 1/2000th of a second to hopefully freeze the action, to freeze the bat as best as possible. I didn't even do it here. Yes, I would have loved to have been at, say, 1/4000th, or even 5 or 6,000th of a second, but then I'd have to really push the ISO. That's the issue with the slower lenses. You have to then push everything to the extreme, which then causes your ISO to get bumped. I'm in a D4S, I can get away with it. But as you get into the lower end cameras or the consumer end, even in a D750, yeah, 4,000 is gonna look pretty good. But with a lot of cameras, if your settings are wrong and you're bumping the ISO, you're going to run into a lot of noise issues no matter what camera you have. It comes down to getting the settings right as much as possible in the camera. So I am sitting in a spot that is the best spot ever to watch a baseball game in my opinion. It's right on the field. You can't get there from the stands. You have to walk on the field to get there, and luckily I had a photo credential, and I was sitting right there. You are in prime-time foul ball territory, so I made sure that my camera was always pointing out, or at least blocking my face in case something popped back. I wasn't texting. I was paying attention to the game because I didn't want anything to happen to me if a ball got fouled off and came back there. But this is the greatest thing. You are right. You could reach out and touch the person in the on-deck circle. So this image, technically, I think it's pretty darn good. One of the things you also run into with a 5.6 or a 6.3 lens is that the background doesn't blow out as much. You don't get that smooth, buttery bokeh, and that is part of the reason that the pros use an f4 or 2.8s, because it blows out the background, isolating the subject and not having it be as distracting. So that's pretty much the image. Now let's edit it. I'm going to hit reset right here, and I'll just show you how I would edit it. My exposure, pretty darn good, almost right on. One of the things I do, you know me, I pump the contrast up. By the way, you can download the DNG file and try this out for yourself and edit it in Adobe Lightroom. Another thing I like to do is I change my point curve to to something like medium because I like my contrast to be boomy. A little bit on the clarity here. We need to pop the fill light just a bit in his face. Come back here on the black levels a little bit. It may look a little bit yellow, so I'm going to pull back, but I don't want to go too far because I like a little bit of the yellow feel, even though it was an overcast day. Then I go ahead and I'm going to move the Nikons tend to shift a little green, so just by moving back on the right-hand side to the magenta, you can bring the image back to life. But I don't like blue. You see how blue makes it seem it's not as alive? Just a little bit of yellow, add some color to the dirt. It adds some life to it. And I think that this works out pretty well. Now, I edited it earlier. Let's see how far off I was from where I edited earlier. I actually like my new edit better because it's a little more warm. It's a little more yellow. I like that. So that's where I would leave it. That's a quick edit. It's not that hard to do in Lightroom. Download the DNG, try it for yourself, and that is pretty much it. If you guys like a series, would like to see a series where I break down what's going through my mind as I, think about the settings, the image that I captured, the pros, the cons, what I did right, what I did wrong. I'm not sure what's terribly too wrong from this. You couldn't shoot much tighter because you may have cropped something out like the bat or the ball. I wanted to shoot as tight as possible while still getting the entire batter in there and a little bit of the catcher's gloves. So pretty cool image. Not easy to get the ball right on the bat, but got lucky, but I was prepared to get lucky, and that is about it, and that's where I'll leave it. Don't forget, leave a comment down below if you want to see more of these, and don't forget to go ahead and click over to the website to download the DNG file so that you can edit it yourself. And if you're here on YouTube, well, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you can get the latest videos as they go live. Thank you for watching. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.